After a disappointing draw to Villa last night, we now need to look ahead at our next big fixture, Man City away. Despite the Manchester club having a poor season, they still have the ability to send our title race into panic. In today's video, we have some huge news ahead of this game, which we will break down in today's video. We will also go over all the latest Liverpool news from the last 24 hours. There is so much to discuss in today's video. So be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. But first, Arne Slot has revealed his unhappiness at the manner in which Darwin Nunez reacted to his dreadful miss away to Aston Villa, especially his work ethic. Nunez certainly isn't renowned as Liverpool's best finisher, but even by his standards, his failure to score in Wednesday's 2-2 draw was bad. The 25-year-old fired over with an open goal gaping in the second half, blowing an opportunity to seal a huge victory for Liverpool. Speaking to the media on Thursday, Slot admitted his disappointment at Nunez's attitude after the miss rather than the moment itself. "I can accept every miss, especially from a player that scored two very important goals against Brentford and in the home game against Villa," Slot said. "I would prefer him to score, but the word chance says it all. It's a chance, so not 100% that the ball goes in. Players miss chances that I can accept, but what was harder to accept was his behaviour after that chance. It got too much in his head where he wasn't the usual Darwin that works his arse off and makes sure he helps the team. I think he was too disappointed after missing that chance, and maybe that is why he was a fraction short the moment afterwards. I always truly believe it is best to have Wataru Endo mindset. He keeps going, and whenever we need him, he is always ready. That is very difficult, and there are not many players who can do this. It's not about the chance for me, it is more about the 20 minutes afterwards that I want to talk to him about." Slot discussed Nunez later in his press conference too, further suggesting that he has issues with him, having been asked about how key he can be in the coming months. "I will tell him we can still achieve, but I will tell him you can miss a chance, but you cannot miss out on work rate," he added. "That is the life of a striker. He knows he's 25, he will have missed and scored chances in his career, so no problem at all. It's part of the job of a number 9 that you sometimes miss when people expect you to score, but it is not part of the job to slow down the work rate, and that is something we will talk about." Slot is clearly irked by Nunez's performance at Villa Park on Wednesday, with Liverpool's number 9 offering nowhere enough effort and quality. At this point, it is hard to envisage him still being a Reds player next season, following exit rumours in January. Slot is refreshingly honest when talking about his players, including when he isn't happy with them, and with each passing game, the clearer it becomes that he has run out of patience with Nunez. Now, in some huge news ahead of our Manchester City clash, Arne Slot has described Cody Gakpo as a close call for Liverpool's trip to Man City on Sunday, while Joe Gomez is out for a long time after hamstring surgery. Gakpo missed the last 2 games after taking a knock to his ankle in the Merseyside derby, with his absence against Aston Villa on Wednesday prompting further concerns. With Diogo Jota not yet fully fit and Darwin Nunez in worryingly poor form, Slot will be hoping to have his first choice left winger available for the clash with Man City. But speaking in his pre-match press conference, the head coach described it as a close call when it comes to Gakpo. "Let's see, I hope he will be fit. I'm not 100% sure," he told reporters. "He hasn't trained with the team yet, maybe he does a bit today, I don't know. It will be a close call." Slot knows he will be without Connor Bradley, hamstring, and Tyler Morton, shoulder, along with Gomez, who underwent surgery to correct a long-standing hamstring issue this week. The operation was successful, but providing an update on his centre-back, Slot suggested that the season may be effectively over for Gomez with a return hopeful for the run-in. Joe Gomez had a surgery for his hamstring injury, so he's out for a long time, he explained. He will be back maybe just before the end of the season. Bradley's blow in the 2-2 draw with Villa was a setback when it comes to plans to manage Trent Alexander-Arnold's fitness, with Slot detailing how he looked to limit the right-back's minutes. "We spoke about this already a week ago about these 5 games. He already knew how many minutes he would make," he said after asked if he had to explain his decision to substitute Alexander-Arnold at Villa Park. "That was in a situation where Connor was available as well. Now maybe we have to adjust our plan. But I said to him, you know why I take you out, don't you? He said, yeah, we spoke about it. But of course, a player has adrenaline and he just scored. It was a better moment than against Wolves when he just lost the ball before I took him off." Now in other news, Arne Slot, assistant Sipka Holshoff and Liverpool have accepted the FA's charges against them following the events of the Merseyside derby on February 12. Slot and Holshoff were both shown red cards by referee Michael Oliver in the aftermath of Liverpool's 2-2 draw with Everton in fiery scenes at Goodison Park. Slot and Hulshoff were both charged with acting in an improper manner and or used insulting and or abusive words and or behaviour towards a match official. Liverpool and Everton were also charged with failing to ensure their players and or technical area occupants did not behave in an improper and or provocative way following the final whistle. This comes after a scuffle between Curtis Jones and Everton midfielder Abdoulaye Doucouré, who celebrated in front of the away fans following James Tarkowski's late equaliser. With the case back with the FA, a hearing will now take place within the next 10 days, inclusive of Thursday, with sanctions to be determined by an independent panel. The expectation is that Slot, who was unable to accept a set punishment as the charge was deemed as non-standard, will then be suspended for 2 games. This comes with the Dutchman having already observed a one-match touchline ban in the Carabao Cup quarter-final win over Southampton following an accumulation of yellow cards. If the case is resolved imminently, that could mean Slot misses the trip to Man City on Sunday, February 23rd, and the visit of Newcastle next Wednesday, February 26th. However, there remains a chance, due to the deadline set, that the sanctions could even be delayed into March, covering the home league clash with Southampton, March 8th, and the Carabao Cup final against Newcastle, March 16th. Slot could still only face a one-match ban, with Liverpool awaiting the FA's final verdict. Finally, Robbie Fowler has called Darwin Nunez's miss against Aston Villa one of the worst we've seen this year, saying he doesn't think about the game enough. Liverpool dropped more precious Premier League points on Wednesday evening, being held to a 2-2 draw away to Villa, and Nunez missed an open goal in the second half, blowing his chance of scoring the winner. Speaking on TNT Sports after the match, Fowler gave a scathing assessment of the Uruguayan's miss, suggesting that he lacks a football brain. People worry about Darwin Nunez because he doesn't think about the game enough, Fowler said. If you're struggling for confidence, you've got to go back to basics. You've got to get the ball, you've got to touch it and give it 5 yards away. You don't look and dally on the ball waiting for someone to make a run so you can play in an unbelievable pass. Play the simple things. You always need to go back to basics and do the simplicity of being a footballer, what got you into the position of being a professional footballer. It's a bad miss, it's a really bad miss, probably up there with one of the worst we've seen this year. I'll try and help him out a little bit by saying Szoboszlai maybe should have shot himself, but he's played a great ball to him and he's missed the target criminally from 7 or 8 yards. That can't be happening. In truth, it's hard to disagree with anything Fowler says about Nunez, who knows a thing or two about being a top striker. The 25-year-old is popular with Liverpool fans because he cares about the club and gives his all, but Wednesday's miss was another damaging moment in his career. But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.